Welcome to week 5 of TDEC Virtual Summer Camp. This week's activities are targeted at K through 2nd grade, but we encourage viewers of all ages to follow along. Today is Food Waste Friday, and we are continuing to learn about pollinators and their importance. Yesterday, we learned about how pollination works, and today, we are learning about what happens after the pollination occurs. Pollination is necessary for many of our plants to produce fruits and vegetables that we love to eat. In fact, about a third of the fruits and vegetables that we eat is dependent upon pollinators. Without a successful pollination, that fruit or vegetable simply could not grow. So, we are going to take a tour of our backyard garden to get an up-close look at what the flowers on these fruits and vegetables look like before they get pollinated. Then, we will see what types of produce they turn into once a successful pollination has been completed. So, let's go take a look.
Here is a look at our backyard garden. Let's take a look at some of the crops that our local bees are helping us to pollinate and grow. Here we have a tomato plant. As you can see, it has little buds. These little flowers will get pollinated and turn into a big, pretty, juicy tomato. Through here, we have some butter beans. As you can see, they have little white blooms on them. These will also get pollinated and start to produce beans. Here we have green beans. Green beans have small purple blooms. And there are some small green beans that have already been pollinated and starting to produce. Here we have a cucumber plant. They have small yellow blooms that turn into little cucumbers. Let's see what we can find on this side of the garden. Here we have a poblano pepper plant. Its blooms are small and white, like this one here. Once pollinated, it starts to develop a small little pepper pod, like this one here. Then it will grow into a large pepper, like the one seen here. These aren't fully mature yet, but they're well on their way. On this squash plant, we have several small developing squash. As you can see, each one has a blossom on it. This little bloom hasn't even opened yet, but a lot of these are open. Squash plants and other plants in the same family have both male and female flowers. For the squash plant to produce, the male flower must pollinate the female flower to produce a healthy squash. Here's examples of the male flower that do not have a squash attached to them. Just the flower. Here we have a mature tomatillo plant. They also start from buds. As you can see, the small yellow flowers open, and then a tomatillo begins to develop. Here are some more mature ones, well on their way. Bees also help pollinate many other things, like a variety of herbs you can see here. We also have peas in our garden. This interesting little bloom will turn into a pea pod after it gets pollinated and looks similar to this. And then it will turn into a full-grown pea. These are actually purple hull peas. Lastly, we have blackberries. These beautiful blackberries here that you see start as a flower. First, you will see a large bud like this, and then they will open into a small white flower. There's the flower. And then it will turn into a blackberry like you just saw. There's one about to bloom. And then the bees will pollinate and they start to grow until they ripen into a big blackberry like this one right here. I also plant local or native wildflowers close to my garden to attract the pollinators to my garden. As you can see, it seems to be working. Bees pollinate about 90 different food crops. It is estimated that 1/3 of every bite you eat is thanks to bees or other pollinators. Here you can see just a small sampling of produce from my backyard garden that is thanks to our local bees. Without pollination, these fruits and vegetables wouldn't grow. Blackberries, green beans, cucumbers, beets, carrots, squash, and zucchini. Fruits and vegetables are valuable resources, and many are only possible with the help of bees and other pollinators. Remember this the next time you go grocery shopping with your parents or are picking produce out of your very own backyard. Be sure to choose wisely and only purchase what is needed, store your produce properly, and save leftovers to repurpose into a new recipe or eat later. This ensures that every bite is eaten and no food goes to waste. Thank you for following along with today's Food Waste Friday activity. We hope you learned a little bit about why pollinators are important, where your food comes from, and why it's really important not to waste it. We'll see you next week for TDEC Virtual Summer Camp. Thanks.